Can you win, guys, if one of your teammates is dropping out of the game? Can we win 2 versus 3 in Direct Strike? Let's find out, guys. The game started just super normally, so let's do the draft first. Grunt, Rifle, Shaman is always a really solid draft. Top position, I really don't like top position with Huntress, especially not with the Banshees, so easy left side to pick here. So tier 2, we are seeing Roar, some anti-air on the right side. On the left side we see Breaker, which is doing not much for us. Talents or Gargs are also not so great, so we should pick here for the right side, even though it's not the insanest draft. But the Druid of the Claw is definitely giving us some tempo, and we have also some healing with the Priest, and the Gyro's giving us at least any anti-air, so not too bad. Fairy always better in the shade, and then tier 3 we have MGs with Wyvern, that's decent, and or we have tanks with actually Griffins. So it's mainly, do we want to have pierce or magic damage on tier 3s? Here the big question, because tanks and MGs are kinda the same. In my draft at the moment I have not the greatest pierce damage, I feel like. That's why I'm picking here more for the Wyvern side. Then we're going like for a classic opener with double Grunt in the bottom lane, no mine first on top position, so that we can get the mid control hopefully early on. With double Grunts we have like a decent shot on getting early mid position. We're winning against Hunts and Grunts, and probably even against 3 Footmen, only Ghouls wrecking us really hard. So opponent has Ghouls, so there's no shot we're winning this. We know now we also need like kinda as soon as possible a hero, because heroes are really strong against Ghouls, and probably even need to go Shamans. So our teammate Stilo did go here for double Footman and run Rifleman on the first wave. The Rifleman is like pretty grief honestly, because you should always go for only frontline on the first wave. The Rifleman just like makes you lose the wave simply. We're repositioning now a bit the Grunts to the middle now, and just going for more, and as I said, we're saving now the rest of the money just to be able to get the hero out on the next wave. So the Keeper of the Grove is here wrecking the Dark Ranger really nicely from our bottom player. That's really good. We see our opponent is just massing more and more Ghouls, which was also like quite expected. So this wave we will also lose also pretty hard, and we simply need to get the hero to deal with this mass ghouling. On top we could, as I said, adding also Shamans with Lightning Shield, because they are also really good against Ghouls, but we should first of all focus on getting a hero like MK or Panda or probably even a Demon Hunter, maybe even a TC, just to get high AoE damage and also slowing down the Ghoul damage. So we're seeing here now our mid player added a Lich, really strong, but Dark Ranger against Footmen creating a lot of skellies, so this is kind of hard for him here actually to do much, because he's getting like out of each fucking Footman a skelly, which is like really ugly. That's why he's also starting to adding now Dryads to counter these skellies, and we are seeing what hero we are getting. We're seeing a Dreadlord Alchemist. We could, like, the thing is, the Dark Ranger is not really that crazy good, because he will just get overrun, and the Dreadlord is usually also fine, but I feel like I need more sustain also. And the Alchemist is the only hero which gives me really strong damage output while also sustain in one hero. So the Acid Bomb will simply help us to kill the Ghouls really hard with the AoE damage and minus armor, and the Healing Spray will give my Grunts more sustain, so that we can actually just wreck this lane. We're getting here now also a stack with the Keeper, really good. And now we can just gather some experience and kill this wave pretty smoothly. I'm toggling here also a bit the Acid Bomb, just to make sure I'm not wasting it on like 1 or 2 units, so that we hopefully can also add Acid Bomb actually the next wave to also help our next dude, our next teammate to win the waves. So we're getting here an asset off, also killing quite some units on this lane. That looks pretty good for the next guy. But I feel like our bottom player is now also, our mid player is now fighting the tower, as you see on the minimap. And that's why he will lose his lane, because he didn't reposition. Yeah, so that's a bit sad, because now they will push with the Dark Ranger again. Probably. Or re-killing it. It's kind of close though. So if the Dark Ranger survives, we will have a hard time. I'm adding here more shamans to prepare for Lightning Shield if needed. And also Lightning Shield, and also the shamans also making good damage against the ghouls. And we even get this spell if our opponent would also add magic damage. So, this lane again looks kinda close probably, not really. So our keeper player is doing a really good job. Lane looks pretty nice so far, playing the game just as usually. So yeah, the faster player is just playing more ghouls and more ghouls till it works. I'm going here for a defense upgrade just to give me more sustain, because I feel like I really just need to survive like the burst damage to keep my grunts alive, and then we will be fine. And as you see, we are also quite fine, because the acid bomb is like pretty crazy. We don't even need the lightning shield. Our shamans also just dispelling the wolves, and we having here a really great time against this mass ghoul player, because we have like a pretty good hero against it. So the Dark Ranger player is still really ugly, because the skellies are always a problem. And we also are kind of close to fighting into the towers here. Lich player has now a lot of Dryads, so the skellies shouldn't be any problem anymore. And we're going up to 4 shamans, because 4 shamans are actually the number you need to instantly dispel the double wolves, and that should be always your goal. So that's why we're going here for 4 shamans. And then I'm also checking my upgrades a bit, what I should add next. But more frontline is just really good, because he will probably add even more ghouls, so we need also more frontline. Yeah, of course the game is going pretty smoothly so far. We didn't even need to go lightning shield. We could still add it if we actually need like to deal with even more ghouls. But at the moment it just doesn't look like we do need to play it. And if you don't really need it, then you also shouldn't skill it, because then you can save the resources and do it onto some more valuable things. So the keeper is also kind of over leveling here, already level 3, because he's winning all his waves. The tower also burning already kind of down on like 200-300 HP on 8-minute mark. That's pretty good. And we are also nearly fighting now into the tower. So our opponent adding now Banshees and AMS. I'm not even sure. I think the acid bomb is going through AMS, to be honest. I mean, not the damage, but the minus armor. And yeah, the AMS is not doing so much. He's trying also to protect his wolves with the AMS a bit, so they also have to dispel this. But we are just really, really strong in the game. And so far, with this 8-minute tower, it looks like we have the game like kinda in our hand already. Mid player adding a mine, also totally fine. I'm tagging here to tier 2. And so far it looks pretty nice, guys. But this might change very fast. So remember my words, guys. Yeah, so Lich player also plays pretty well. We have a good team so far. Everybody knows what to do. And we will now add some tier 2 units. We are making a bit space in the middle to add there our Druid of the Claw for the Roar. But now kinda something happens, guys. Mr. Eccled is kinda dropping down. And now the game gets actually way more interesting. Like so far the game looked like we're winning just super easy. But now actually someone drops. And that's not something I wanna see here. Because if you have 3 strong players, you don't want someone to drop out. This might get pretty ugly. Yeah, so I'm here in this game a bit like, oh come on, please don't drop. I mean, a drop can happen to everybody, but it still sucks. And there's no reconnect function, so no one can come back. And yeah, so I'm actually now offering my opponents a draw. Why? Well, so far we're winning pretty nicely. So I feel like a draw would be pretty fair. Because we have like at the moment like the by far a big lead, and I think it would be just like good for both sides. Yeah, but our opponents kind of refusing to draw because they feel like, oh yeah, it's 2 versus 3, my opponent's dropped, so now get easy MMR, right? But me and my teammate, we are no fools, guys. Like, we are not forfeiting here or anything. Like, we are having the lead, we have strong boards, we have good heroes. So why the fuck should we leave, guys? There's no fucking reason. You never give up till your fort is down. That's the rule. So we are now getting pushed pretty hard because during the wave someone dropped out and then all the units I think are just disappearing. So that means we are now fighting against a really big wave, which we kind of have to handle. And the big question is it really realistic? Is it possible to win this game? Because now we are actually in a quite ugly spot. I would not say we're out of the game, but we are definitely now not anymore that favored as we were before. But I also really like that my teammate is just playing usually on. He's like playing as me, as nothing would happen. I'm adding now a second mine because I feel like I really need it to actually go on for more. I don't want to really add like any tier 2 units. I just want to have the war. And I need tier 3 kinda also soon. My tier 1 I can add more grunts and also some rifles if I want, but also not too many. So I just feel like we're having still a good strong position and I need more money. So I added also some riflemen just to be not totally fucked against air. And my opponent also adding rifles, having now also some priests for this spell. Acid bomb is still kind of wrecking, and we are still holding on pretty strongly here. The Dark Ranger is now facing me, so the waves also are getting now shuffled a lot, just because if someone dropped, actually your spawning time of your own army gets a lot lower. Because you're not fighting 3 versus 3, but 2 versus 3, so your army will spawn a lot more often. This also means that your heroes will get way more experience than your opponent's heroes, because you're simply spawning more often. So I think my opponents kinda did not think about or realize yet that our heroes, which are really strong heroes, will be way faster level 6 than their heroes. Just because we're getting more waves. And this is like our advantage. We're having like 1 man down, but we're having kinda the over level advantage, which can be pretty strong to get just level 6 earlier. Like Lich ulti is pretty strong just because it's big AoE, and Alchemist ulti gives me just a shit ton of money. So the economy side is definitely in our favor. And Dark Ranger is also a hero which will actually fall off pretty hard if Dark Ranger can't push. And on tier 3 Dark Ranger is kinda dead hero. So I'm telling my teammate I'm going tier 3, that he knows what's going on. And I think like at this stage of the game, I think like we can definitely win this game. Like now we are ahead already again. Because our armies are better, our heroes are probably also favored. Also the fast tier hero is only really that great with the ulti if he's actually in tower or fort range, which he isn't if we push. The Necro is also enabling us really good push, and our opponents having also banshees and not much dispel, only priests, which are not really a great dispel source. So at this moment, we're having definitely the momentum and can definitely make something happen. So we're having now tier 3, I want to get the Bloodlust to get just more damage, more tempo out. Also my teammate has Bloodlust on tier 3 and the Necro Skelly upgrade also. So we're getting now here even a stack. Getting the heal in, level 5 on the Lich, and just pushing really hard with Necro Bloodlust and Roar. So we're now even on 30 minutes starting to damage the fort quite a bit. And on tier 3 now, I'm also getting here obviously level 3 healing, and now I feel like, what do we need? Do we need more do we need MGs for frontline? Do we need Wyverns? Like in this game, I'm repositioning here just to make space to get MGs in front if I want them. And we should also add MGs because I feel like that the MGs are, as I'm always saying also in my guides, guys, they are so good against tier 1 and tier 2. And my opponents at the moment showing that they are actually only tier 2, unless they're taken on this round. So MGs are really, really strong again. Like MGs are wrecking the grunts, wrecking the riflemen, and also the cars in the backline. Yeah, and as you see, like the skelly spawns are pretty significant. Like they are really holding the wave for a long time. And even a small stack on these necros would be really important. There are now some fairies which are quite a bit nasty. But the healing spray is just healing up my shit. Now they're getting sniped a lot. So I definitely need something against these fairies. I can kind of clean it up with the alchemist, because the alchemist can also attack air units back. But the fairies are for sure a bit ugly. My teammate also playing destroyer, pretty strong, giving us also good AoE dispel on top. And I will just play here a bit more frontline, because I feel like the frontline is just so powerful against our opponent with the hardened skin here. And then we will definitely also have to do something against these ugly fairies. But I'm also kind of rare that I'm most likely not facing the fairy player like in the next round, because we are only 2 versus 3. That means we will not face the same waves each round, because they are getting shuffled too much. So I actually don't need that exactly much to add at the moment against fairies, because the fairies will kind of get faced every 2 or 3 turns only. So yeah, that's the thing. So that's also something you kind of have to play different if you're 2 versus 3, because the game is getting a lot different then. So we're getting here now our ultimate to eat some money boys in. And now we're also starting to get even more money overall. Like the advantage of our opponents is obviously that they are actually having more mines in total. So kind of more money in total, because there are 1 player more. So I don't know really who is favored in this matchup. If it's good to be 2 or more 3 players. I was feeling like always it's better to be 3 players if you have 3 good players. And it's only good if someone drops if this guy was weak on your team. But in this game it feels like, I don't know, I'm really unsure who should be favored in this 2 versus 3 matchup here. Like my stomach is telling me it should be the 3 guys who should be favored. But because me and my teammate are so strong, it feels like we are favored. And at this point of the game, where we're looking like really strong and even starting to also push the fort damage in, I feel like my teammates, I feel like the opponent's team is kind of now asking themselves, why the fuck did we not draw this game, you know? Because now it looks like that we will win this game, even with 1 man down. So, also if you are in this position, guys, on both sides, I feel like the draw would be a good option for both sides here, or for both teams. I think drawing this out would be like the most fair option, I feel like. Yeah, but imagine you are losing now 2 versus 3, guys. This must feel bad, man, right? If it's really happening. Can we really do this, guys? Like, there's also 1 Demolisher out now, who is giving us a bit... Ooh, and actually, Reprobate is just leaving the game. Like, I don't know if this is like, what the fuck? Is he just, like, forfeiting? Is he just dropped? Is he just rage quitting? Nobody knows. But it's a kind of awkward timing to just, like, drop the game, right? Like, now it looks like they're losing, and now we're 2 versus 2, guys. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, now we're 2 versus 2. And now, like, I don't know. It's also kind of, like, is he dropping on purpose? That the opponent's team now getting also more experience and more, like, more spawns on the waves? But I don't think that's at the moment really good, because we are now over-leveled already. So I think if you would like to drop on purpose to give your team like a fair chance on same level on heroes, you should do it way earlier. And this probably could also be a good play to just drop 1 player, because the over-leveling is a pretty big thing. So yeah, I don't know, like at the moment it looks like really that we are just demolishing the opponents. The Demolisher deals decent damage to the Fortress also, and the ultimate is pretty strong against everything here. The Death Throw is also kind of sniping in the back a bit. The Dark Ranger, Healing Ward is a bit ugly against us, but the Necros just being pretty strong. So my teammate is now adding a second hero, cause Lich level 7 already. I like this. We're adding now Wyverns, cause I feel like we just need more damage. We have enough frontline. And also against the opponent's Death Throws, we need some nice pierce damage, and Wyvern also a decent unit with Bloodlust overall. So now we're getting pushed back again. So is this game over, guys? Are we losing? Are we winning? I'm really unsure here in this momentum, but I feel like we definitely can make it happen, guys. I also kind of consider here, should I go like for a second hero? Should I just go like for more units? Can we end the game fast, or will it go longer? So I'm not sure. Yeah, it's like kind of a weird game, but my teammate also got a really strong second hero with the Shadow Hunter. Gives us more sustain for more push. If we reach level 6 Shadow Hunter, it's most likely game anyways, because the Big Bad Voodoo is like really crazy strong. And the Death Throw is doing there also like a decent job against the Dark Ranger. But as you see here, the Death Throw is getting also a bit charmed, which is kind of ugly. But we are having now like a pretty big amount of Wyverns, which are just destroying the Destroyer and the Dryads, and also just being very strong overall. Yeah, so our army composition, I feel like, is just better than the opponents, because they're having like really a lot of tier 1 and tier 2 units still. But it's still kind of hard to push through this second wave. But we're kind of killing like half of the second wave also. So looks still like something. Like my teammate is kind of having not so much of a good front line, I feel like. Yeah, I mean, Dark Ranger at 20-minute mark feels really weak, because Dark Ranger is an early tempo hero. Fire Lord is only good on the ultimate, but not before that. So I feel like, because the game is already in the mid game, the Blizzard is definitely getting some usage. And the Tornado can also, if you place it really well, also be pretty game changing. So I think Blizzard on the Archmage is just a really good choice. And with the Lich, Shadow Hunter and also Alchemist, actually the Brilliance Aura is quite nice. Also the Shamans and Necros love to get more mana. So I think in this game as second hero, on my choices, the Archmage was like actually a pretty decent one. Yeah. So the question is now, how will this game develop more? Can we push into fort range, or can we make a stack happen? Are we actually favored, or are we losing at the moment? I mean, we still have the mid control, and it doesn't look like we lose it at the moment. So it looks just pretty nice. And the Alchemist gives me just like a lot of money each turn. So we should definitely be favored on the economy. And also the army looks now actually quite nice. Demolisher doing good damage also to the fort. And now it looks like if we can actually make a stack happen, that we could potentially end the game also quite fast. Because we have such a strong push with the Demos, Necros and a lot of healing through the Alchemist and Shadow Hunter. So the big question is, can we stack on our teammate, or will he die out before? At the moment it seems like it's kind of close. The Demos are still up. 2 are up of them. They're getting focused. But actually we can make them survive. And this 2 Demos surviving here is actually a pretty big thing. Because they are not only dealing AoE damage, good fort damage, but also just having high damage overall. So if we can clear out this wave now in the fortress, then the Demos will definitely do also like a good job onto like getting the fortress down. We're selling here some tier 1 frontline to get just more MGs out. Because as we saw, guys, we were simply kind of clearing out the wave pretty nice, and now it looks like we really can end the game kind of fastly. And my teammate also saying like that they should like draw it out, because they're now losing kind of 2 versus 3ish, which is kind of funny. Like that's one of the most interesting, most funniest and also weirdest games I ever played in Direct Strike, because Because it's just 2 versus 3. And 2 versus 3 is really kinda... Like, 2 versus 3 can be everything. It can be really good for your team, it can be really bad, it can just be balanced. Like, and that's why you also should never give up, guys. Because there's always a chance to win in like 95% of your games. And now it looks like we're really one push only away from actually ending the game here. There's also one Chim now in the mix, which is quite a bit ugly. My Archmage is also leveling up quite decently though. But just one more push with the demos and the game is over. Yeah, so now we are adding just more and more damage just to also deal with the Chims, because the Wyvern are also pretty good against the Chims. And I kinda can't really believe that we're winning this game. Or that it's looking like we're winning the game. Like, it's kinda crazy for me. And that's also why I'm showing you this game, just to show you guys, like, there's no reason to ever give up. I'm adding also more frontline, because I feel like if you're just beefy enough, then we can stick with our teammate and just tank the fort and just end the game. So now we can't stack on this wave. We're now facing again the ugly fairy wall. But we might kill the wave fast enough just to kill the fort. Is it possible, guys? Not really. There's the army coming already. Dark Ranger is draining now my Archmage, but he's still alive, which is pretty important, because the Blizzard now is actually killing like a lot of backline tier 1 and tier 2 units. And also the Destro is getting damaged quite nicely. So Archmage level 2 Blizzard is now getting quite some damage in. The game is still close, and we obviously want to like close it out as fast as we can. But I'm feeling also now that I'm pretty rich overall, just because of the Alchemist giving us each wave like this extra 90 to 200 gold, depending on what he's eating. And Lich Ultimate is cleaning out a lot here. Opponents having also now Alchemist second hero, and the Necros of our side are falling off now quite hard too, because the Destros are countering them. But this looks like we can stack again with actually Lich, Necros and Demos, and this has to be the game, guys, because we just need like one shot of all Demos and the game is over. And will we be able to do it? Blizzard is obviously also damaging the fortress, but we're not targeting it, I feel like. The fort is like really low though. It's just 100 HP, guys. And now getting focus from the Demos. 30 HP, 40, 20, and that's game. We won actually kinda this one. What a crazy one, guys. Subscribe if you want to climb faster in Direct Strike. Thanks, guys.